Hi, okay. So first off, I'm going to be covering since you guys wanted to hear about like herbs and the metaphysical properties with those, that's what I'm going to be covering first. And then if you guys have any questions, I can answer those. And then later on, I'll like cover the stuff that you guys want to hear. It's like summoning and all that. Since that's a little bit more complicated and a little bit more for like advanced studies, but herbs and herbalism is one of the things that most people start out with. So it's really easy to understand, and it has a lot of like basis in like history or like science. Like a lot of plants and herbs do things that are going to affect your body, like specifically, for instance, chamomile. That's it's like a muscle relaxant, and it also decreases anxiety. And so therefore chamomile is like really good metaphysically for like decreasing anxiety, like helping you calm down, helping you relax. Chamomile also has a few other properties, but for that situation you would be using it for anti-anxiety. So every single plant or herb has a handful of associations. It's never just like one. Like rose is for love, yes, but it's for so many other things as well. So if you want to use rose in a love spell or something that has to do with like love, what you'd want to do is you want to like basically like attune your ingredients for whatever reason that you like have them for. For instance, let's say this is rose right here. Let's say I was going to use this like rose for a love spell. I would take however much rose I'd be using, and then I'd basically just like, this is how I personally do it. Everyone's different though. I would close my eyes, put my hands like right above it or on it, and then just like basically like connect to the plant, tell it what I want it to do, like make sure it's okay doing that. And then usually I'll like meditate for a little longer, and then imagine like the light of whatever correspondence, for this case love, it would be like pink and red, coming down from the sky, like entering into the crown and then filling your body, and then I like visualize it like going out of my hands into the rose or whatever you're using. There's lots of construction going on, but yeah, it really just depends on what you are using. Most ingredients, like you can just do a quick Google search, honestly. I'll just say it right now. It's like pinecone.pub, P-U-B, is a website that you literally just like type in your intent. Like for instance, you type in protection if you want to like protect your household or something like that. And they give you a list of like flowers, plants, herbs, and crystals that all work for protection. If you're on it for a while, you'll start to see like reoccurring things to where it's like most crystals and most plants are in multiple categories, because like I said, they don't usually have just one like connotation. It's usually quite a few. Yeah. I can't really think of anything else to say. That's just kind of like the base starting point. Do you guys have any questions on like the like herbalism part of it? Yeah, that's just like a very, very basic overview. But it's basically like witchcraft with like plants and herbs is mostly about like taking like what you can and using it for like what you can. So it's like very earth-based, so you want to like make sure that you're respecting the earth, you're respecting that you are literally taking from the earth. And before you take, especially if it's like you're like gathering things, for instance, we have a bunch of pine here in Flagstaff, so you can just go out and collect pine. You would like ask whatever tree or plant that you're going to be collecting from, ask and make sure that it's okay. You'll usually know. It's like a gut feeling. If you aren't sure, just move on and find another tree. Yeah. it's all about like respecting the earth and knowing that like the earth will provide for us if we let it. If we like treat it well, it will give us everything that we need. It's just that right now we are kind of like fucking it up. Yeah, another thing with herbalism, witchcraft, you'll like find that most people don't just do like witchcraft in herbalism. They'll usually do like herbalism as in like healing herbalism. Since plants have a lot of like healing properties, like scientifically, you'll usually find people who are interested in like herbalism witchcraft or like green witchcraft doing like herbalism for healing as well. There's a lot of books on that. I have quite a few books if you guys want to like borrow any of them. But you can like literally just like start reading articles. You can start like Googling stuff. I like know of a few things that like help with like certain ailments off the top of my head. The easiest ones to like figure out how to help are usually like ones that are like kind of physical but also kind of mental, which is like seems like that would be the most difficult. But usually the ones that are like the most difficult are like actual like bodily functions. Like obviously if you have like an infection, that's going to be a lot harder to treat, although a lot of plants do have like antimicrobial and antibacterial properties. For instance, garlic is huge for keeping things like sterile and clean. And yeah, lavender, anti-anxiety. You can use rose for anti-anxiety as well. See, that's another property of it. Love and anti-anxiety. You can use eucalyptus to help like breathe. A lot of the like properties that you'll find, it's usually things that like you already know of. It's just never really like dawned on you that it's like the plant has the medicinal properties. It's not about like what we do to it. It's just already there. But the most important part of witchcraft that I would say, like, before you do anything else, work with protection. Make sure that you know how to protect yourself, you know how to protect your home, you know how to protect wherever you're doing your witchcraft, because once you start, like, opening your mind up to kind of, like, more metaphysical like practices and opening your mind up to like all the influences and like the spirits that are like out there, which just naturally happens when you start like getting interested in metaphysical stuff. It just like kind of changes the way that like you're viewing things, and therefore it changes like the way that your brain is like structured. But other like entities and spirits usually will notice that, and they're not like mean or bad or anything. But, like, it can get annoying if you don't know how to protect yourself. They can, like, wake you up at night and all this stuff. So, protection first.